YouTube decided I'm no longer allowed to use the music in my intro, so now, until I find another one, you're stuck with my voice.
What is up, guys? This is Olympio, coming at you with a discussion video on something that's kind of popped up a lot more recently, and it's why do people play Chainburn slash, kind of Exodia deck. Chainburn and Exodia have got a bit of a reputation, got a reputation for pissing people off and being very scummy decks, especially Chainburn, mainly because people seem to have the connotation that it's a cheap deck in the way that it plays, the fact it burns you for game instead of, having very in-depth different combos and strategies. It's a very simple combo and strategy. Kill your opponent with these set cards and stall until you get them. Now, it's very annoying to go up against some of these decks. I think everyone will agree, even the people who play and love the deck. I have to admit that it is a bit annoying to go against the deck. It's just something that I've always thought is like, why do people play these decks? And I played with Chainburn for a little bit. And Exodia are some of my favourite decks, just because it's Exodia. It's not the fact I enjoy pissing people off, it's the fact that Exodia is such a cool thing to get, and I enjoy building decks around getting to that, but it's not necessarily just the boring fader, scarecrow, just draw all the cards and blah 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 blah. It's kind of interesting ways to do it. So you might have seen my Exodia Quasar deck. That's quite an interesting way to get to Exodia, but also with a different win condition. But I digress. It's an interesting one to see why people are so annoyed with the deck, and another side is why do people play it? So the things that I've kind of come up with is that Chainburn is cheap. It is extremely cheap to play. You could probably pick up all the cards for a 5-10 quid, if that, and all the cards have come out in kind of like really low rarities, common. All your Battle Faders and Scarecrows, commons. The Chain Strikes, commons. All things like that, Accumulative Fortune, Recklesses, all common. It's just a cheap thing to pick up. It's one of these decks that won't really be affected by the ban list as such. There will be cards that will come out that will be good for it. So One Day Peace was really good for the deck. Even though it didn't allow you to burn, it meant that you could set up your plays kind of safely for that one turn and kind of judge on how to play the deck, how to play against your opponent. It's never, as I said, it's never gonna kind of change with the ban list unless they do like what they did with Final Countdown, kill the main card. But Chainburn doesn't really as such have a main card. There are a lot of different cards you can put in Chainburn: Ceasefire, Just Desserts, Chain Strike, and then you have the additional draw cards like Accumulative Fortune. You can use Hope for Escape if you so wish. It's a very different way of doing it, but in Nurse burn decks, some people do play it. Personally, I don't think it's a good card because you want to burn them, but I digress. It's certainly something that has plagued a lot of people, and on the one hand, as I said, it is quite cheap. The other hand is that it's simple. It catches a lot of decks off guard. You might win game one just because your opponent isn't ready for it. And then the other one is to piss your opponent off. We all know that Chainburn is most of us know that Chainburn is a cheap way to win. It pisses off a lot of people if you go against it, and at times you just can't do anything against it. You know that once they set that back row, unless you're going to have an answer like a Trap Stun or a Royal Decree, you're just going to be there like, yeah, this is not going to be good, because as soon as you draw, they're probably going to be like, activate. It's a bit of an annoying one, and it's certainly an interesting deck. I think that it hasn't really evolved in the sense that your playing style, it's always been the same. Whether or not you have different cards in there, it's always been the same kind of deck, and it's not really evolved, and that's another reason why people don't like it, is because it's the same old. Decks evolve with new cards coming out, and there are different ways to play a deck, but Chainburn is just a very simple burn, that's it. There are no real different things in there to generate something new and generate something that's go up against you, be like, okay, this is quite cool. It's just going to be a standard, for fuck's sake. So I want to know what you guys think of Chainburn. Have you ever played with the deck? Have you played against it? I'm pretty sure you have, but have you actually picked up the deck and had a go with it, and have you enjoyed playing it or not, or do you feel a little bit dirty playing it? So let me know down in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I shall catch you guys later.